Howdy, and welcome to the channel. I thought I'd make a video about where my channel is going and what I envision for it, and an announcement that we have a car show coming up pretty soon, the first one of the year, due to the virus lockdown, and a couple of my car club members I think are going, which would be great. In any case, I firmly believe in mission statements. A mission statement is a declarative of what you would like to do with your life, your career, your bathroom renovation project, your energy saving project, your car. And without one, you never know whether you've accomplished what you set out to accomplish or when to stop. So I was thinking the other day about my YouTube video channel, and while I deem myself a somewhat early adopter of electric cars, I am driving a 5-year-old Tesla at the moment, that's actually getting fairly commonplace, and there are loads of YouTube channels that talk about how to get the most range out of your car and how to care for the battery and what's it like to drive in cold weather and whether you plug it in every day or not. So I don't think I can add much. I've learned a lot from those channels and learned how to drive my car better than I did when I first bought it. But as a rule, you can find all that information out if you want. A lot of those channels have run out of things to talk about, and they end up reviewing things they used to clean their car with. I'm also interested in that kind of thing, but a YouTube subscriber hearing that I like brand X soap and someone else likes brand Y soap, I don't think is going to be much of a reason to look at my channel. So my mission statement is I create content that is interesting to me and something that I would like to view, and that comes down to the cars I find interesting, whether they are electric or not. Generally rare and orphan cars are of interest to me, things that aren't made anymore, and I'm truly fascinated by a lot of technology in the older cars. So my channel is going to be things I'm interested in and something that I find very interesting, especially in overseas video channels. This is a United States channel. I'm based in Colorado, but I'm very fascinated with Scottish, Irish, UK, and German car channels that show me where people live and their customs and their housing. It's just very, very interesting to me. So I'm going to be producing videos of many topics, lots of different car brands. This is not going to be exclusively a convertible channel or a classic car channel or an electric car channel, even though I am probably hyper interested in renewable transportation and electric cars. I think that electric cars are the future, not hydrogen. There are many reasons that I feel that way, but I am not approaching it from an environmental point of view. I absolutely love the way electric cars work, and they're better suited for my driving experience and needs than an internal combustion car, although I do own a gasoline-powered car. In fact, I have 2 of them. So I will always own an electric, I think, and I will probably always have a gasoline car. My wife tells me I am done with buying cars, and I agree. I've spent enough of my income on automobiles, so I will be making do unless some change of life occurs. If I win the lottery, I might do something, but quite frankly, I have more automobiles than I can drive at the moment, and I'm very happy so far with my choices. So I'm going to simply have a channel that discusses things that I'm interested in, the classic cars. I am the webmaster for a couple of different car clubs, And one of those car clubs has classic car owners, generally older owners that are not going to buy newer cars, and they are brand specific, such as one guy owns a half dozen Fords, and another person, as usual in the older group, they have cars that they admired when they were young. So they have 1930s, 1940s American automobiles that they thought were neato when they were young, and they're not getting new members. And so those vehicles, which are great and have been well maintained and kept up, those owners are not able to get their children to be interested in maintaining a 1932 Ford pickup, for example. So it's a shame. I want to get some of those cars documented and shown, and I have to be there to do it. So if I don't have access to the car, I probably can't. There are plenty of channels where you can look up a Hudson, for example, that I don't have access to. So if you're interested in a particular car, you can find the information on YouTube. But if I do have access to the vehicle and the owner, I will be doing videos of the cars I find of interest, and hopefully where I live in the world and the things that I do, maybe others will find interesting. So that is the summary of my new YouTube channel. I haven't produced too many videos. I'm still working full-time at the moment. But when I go semi-retired and retired, I suspect I will be making far more videos than I have done so far. Well, I'm about to pull into a car wash. I generally don't hand wash my car too often. I go to a wand wash, and if you go often enough and wand wash your car, then you don't need to do a hand scrub all that often. And wand washes generally do the job I would like. Although you have to be careful. I have damaged an automobile at a wand wash. I have a red convertible, and I have actually used the wand wash and actually knocked off the knocked off the sorry, I was looking at a guy at the wand wash to ask me if I could use a bay or not. I think I'll back up and use that bay. But I've actually knocked off my fog lights on my Panos convertible, and that's a shame. Knocked them off, can't replace them, so on and so forth. So you have to be careful. Don't let the wand get too close to the paint or you'll damage it. But anyway, that's what my channel's going to be like. Getting ready to wash my car for a show coming up. One thing I always do after I wand wash, let's check for cars, is wipe it down with a microfiber towel. This gets any remaining dirt off and dries the car. It does wonderful things if you can wipe the car down and get the glass super clean before you drive. The only exception is I don't do it if it's cold outside, and I just drive home to a heated garage, and then I'm okay. But one of the things I'm going to do is dry the car. The car is completely wet, but I used one microfiber towel to do the glass and another one to do the paint. One of the first things I do is lift the hatch in a Tesla Model S. That lets all the water drain out because it stays around the glass if you don't. I have a no longer produced sunroof in my Model S. So I make sure the glass is real clean, because you look through it. They do make glass roofs now as standard, but I have a nice sunroof. That's why I never want to lose this car. You can't get the sunroof anymore. The reason I use microfiber towels is that you can wring them out. They dry out and they don't seem to scratch the paint. You use a regular household towel, a crummy towel, it's rough, it's going to damage your paint. I always lift the hood and clean the plastic around the hood, because when you go to a car show, your hood is generally up and people see how clean you keep your car. Call them the gunnels, but the water traps tend to get dirty, and so do the wipers. You can't lift the wipers with the hood down, so I clean those while I'm at a car show. My trunk's pretty empty. That's a repair kit. Got some business cards for my YouTube channel and my car club, and some Hot Wheels Teslas the kids like to look at. But I clean every crevice I can. Yes, I clean the door jambs. I clean there along the bottom, and when I'm done with the door jambs, I take that partially used, when I'm done with the door jambs, I take the wet towel and wipe down the dash. And on a nice, dry, clear, sunny day in Colorado, you don't even need to rinse out or shake out the rag, because the car is almost dry by the time you're done. I always do the chrome here so that it looks nice when you display the car. So far, I've only used a wet towel to wipe down my dashboard. I haven't put any leather dressing or anything on it. I'm afraid of gumming up the Alcantara, which is a fancy word for suede. I don't do that. So far it's held up pretty good. This is 5 years old, about 50,000 miles. And the last thing I do is use a very damp, slightly damp, microfiber towel and clean the screen. And that's the only thing I do. Never use chemicals or Windex or anything on your screen at all. Just use a very, very lightly damp towel and then a dry microfiber. So that's what I do to clean my dashboard in my car. The only thing I don't like cleaning the car once I clean it is that I don't want to roll the windows down. It streaks them and I'd have to get another wet cloth and wipe them down again. So if you leave them up while the car is drying on the way back to your house or your apartment, then the windows stay nice and clean. So what I do is I open my sunroof and it lets enough cool air in if I don't want to run my air conditioning. So it's been a pretty nice day and my car is now nice and clean. I may clean it again before I go to the next car show, but if I have a few minutes, I always head to the wand wash and clean the car. I'm back home now and I wanted to show the dirt on my microfiber towel that I wiped off the car after wand washing. Most of this dirt is from the tires. I do the rims when I wash them, but the nice thing about a microfiber towel is all you got to do is spray the dirty parts before you launder it, and it comes out usually perfectly clean, and you use the microfiber towel again. I am going to wax the car, and I will do a very brief explanation of how I do it, and maybe you'll find it a little easier to do than doing a paste wax. I have a box that I take to car shows that stores all the stuff I like. I have nitrile gloves that I use because leather cleaner gets pretty slippery. I use this. This is the best glass cleaner wipes I have ever found, invisible glass. If for some reason they dry out, I also buy a spray and spray it in the little tube there and keep them moist so that they can be used until the very last one. But when I do a car now for waxing, I no longer use a paste wax. I use Meguiar's Quick Wax. You spray it on and it leaves a pretty good shine. It's not as tough as paste wax, but I also, at my age, do not like bending over and scrubbing the side of the car to get the wax off. Another thing that I don't do anymore as I've gotten older is that I do not wax the little items on the trim. I don't go anywhere near the badging because I have found that leaves white powder all over the little crevices and the little spots you cannot get to. So with this stuff, I simply spray it on with one microfiber towel and then wipe it off, and it makes a pretty good shine. And when you use a wand wash, if you don't spray 1 inch away from the paint, the stuff will stay on a couple of washings. It is not nowhere near as nice and thick as a paste, but I don't like bending over and doing the paste wax stuff anymore. Plus, as you spray it, it'll get to parts that you wouldn't normally get to with a paste wax. So I spray the wax on. I'm not doing a brand. I'm not paid by anybody. This is Meguiar's. You generally spray it on the item and then on the hood, or you do a panel at a time. And I will use a lot more first panel because it will soak into the microfiber cloth. I find that one bottle will do probably 2 to 3 waxes on a cloth. Okay, here comes the wipe off time. And it's actually quite easy to do. It's just like you're dusting. And if there's a section that doesn't wipe off smooth, I simply go get my wax covered towel and put more on so that I get a nice smooth finish. Anyway, I don't want to spend my time waxing a car on video. So if you like the channel, like and subscribe. Hit the bell if you liked it for notifications. And my next video will be at a car show. So thanks for visiting.